So hello, today I'm going to show you how to make good content on TikTok. So just before I start, thanks for watching this video. Thanks for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. I really appreciate it. Who am I? My name is Diego. I'm 19 years old, believe it or not, and I help scale e-commerce brands to new levels using organic strategy and paid advertisement. So why should you trust me? Again, I'm someone that's very knowledgeable in this space. I've had accounts in the past where I've ran the content and made content and have grew it to several thousands of followers and gathered thousands of engagements. So and millions of views. So I know what I'm talking about. But at the same time, I've also helped businesses get to new levels using paid advertisements. So I am someone that can be trusted in this. I am someone that has a complete and complex understanding of what makes for good content. And of course, I have a decent understanding of the algorithm. So, anyways, let's get into the premise of what I'm going to say. Why make content on TikTok? Well, it's the fastest growing platform. Literally every second, there are 8 new users on TikTok every second. Every second. Just think about that. Millions of people use it daily, billions of views on a consistent basis. It is the biggest platform right now, and it is one of the most hottest platforms right now. So it's best that people can get on TikTok and start making a brand for themselves, or maybe growing their own brand if they have one. Like I said, it's the easiest way to grow a brand. I think it's probably the best way to grow a brand nowadays, considering the algorithm is very easy, just as long as you're able to create good content. It's also an untapped market. Not a lot of people, and when I say people, I mean like business owners and influencers. Well, there's a lot of influencers, but I mean people that are striving to be influencers and stuff like that. There's not many of that in this current market right now that are on TikTok, and the ones that are making huge gains. So it's really untapped right now, especially with this algorithm. So it's best that you get on that. There's so much opportunity. There's so much, I guess you could say, money to be made, but there's also a lot of value you can get from TikTok. There's literally so much content that you can make, and I'll get to that in a second with my next point. But literally, there's so much opportunity with what you can do on TikTok and what you can see on TikTok. So the fact that there's so much opportunity that's there, like whether it's growing a brand or increasing your revenue through ads or growing a following, like all that's there on TikTok right now. And like I said, almost anything can be posted on there. Pretty much like most topics that you can think of are most likely on TikTok, whether you believe it or not. Like trust me, if there's girls shaking their peaches on TikTok, there's guaranteed some niche that you're in that's definitely big on TikTok. So here are some just some benefits of making content on TikTok. Is short form content. You know, a lot of that clicks. Like that gets the clicks, that gets the views. Whether it's 7 seconds or 15 seconds, heck, even a minute. It's short form content. It gets the people going. It intrigues the person, but of course, as long as you do it right. And at the end of the day, it's short form content that's going to be the future of content creation. You're also taking advantage of a large platform. Like I said, TikTok is probably the largest platform right now, at least in terms of views and how many people use it daily. I mean, it's just such a big platform that there's just no way you shouldn't be on it if you're going to grow a brand or a business. And like I said, and that brings me to my next point, the power to grow a brand or a business. It's such a big platform. Like it just gives you no excuse to not be on there. And you also obtain an understanding of a powerful algorithm. The longer you're in TikTok, the more aware you are of how content can be made and how you can leverage other people's audiences or leverage an algorithm to the point where you can master that algorithm and grow such a brand or a business. So I think it's such a perfect platform to be in if you want to scale a business or grow a business or grow a personal brand or just a brand in general, or even just make a page about whatever, right? I think TikTok is probably the best platform to create content. So here's what's needed to make a TikTok. You're going to need an understanding of whatever content you're making. So you're gonna have to find a niche. So for example, let's say, you have knowledge about sports, or you're a doctor that understands, a certain aspect of the medical field. You can do that, and you can leverage your authority, you can leverage your knowledge into content that you can make that's informative or engaging or entertaining, to the point where you can build an audience off of that and continue to be consistent with your content, to the point where eventually you'll grow an understanding of the algorithm, and then eventually grow a brand and build your engagement rate. So you can also target a specific audience, like I said, whether you're in sports or in the medical field, or uh, a business person, or a fitness fanatic, or whatever the case is. You can target a specific audience given the niche that you're in. And again, you can also give value and entertainment. Like I said, you could be funny. You can, do silly dances, like what most people think TikTok is all is, which it isn't. Obviously, not everyone goes on TikTok to do silly dances or shake their peach, or do some thirst trap type stuff. But obviously, there TikTok is like a diverse place to make any form of content. And again, you can also be informative, and or even give people value or advice. So that's kind of the beauty of TikTok. And again, also what is needed to make a TikTok. Of course, we can be very technical and say, obviously, you're going to need a phone and some basic editing skills. Obviously, you need to know how to record a video and stuff like that. So that's kind of why I put this in here. And also creativity and consistency. Obviously, you need to find a way to engage with people and understand how to make good content, and what is going to get people to look at your video and want to follow you, or want to engage with your post, right? And you're also going to have to do that on a consistent basis if you want to see yourself grow. So right now, I'm going to give a few examples of some content creators that you can, either take inspiration from or take some note of. The first, I'm going to start with the king of TikTok himself, Kabi Lame, and here's what he does. He just does. Of course, I don't have a video of him, but you can see what he does. Here, he's literally with a famous soccer player or football player, if you're from outside the U.S. or Canada. And he just does. He's a very unique character. He just uses. Usually, what he does is he finds a video of someone doing something silly, or someone doing something, and he corrects them in what they're doing. And he does obviously he does his famous hand gesture, which is right here. He sticks his hands out, and he um, has this little gimmick, right? And it's because of that that's allowed him to have 2.4 billion views, which is absolutely insane. And of course, he has 150.2 million followers, which is insane. And he did that in a span of like a year. So what can you learn from Kabi? Of course, Stitch is an effective way to use hooks. Now, what is Stitch? Like I mentioned earlier, what he does is he finds videos of something, or someone doing something, or of something that's trending, or whatever the case is. He uses a video, and then he uses that video to be the premise of his content, to then eventually do his hook, or I mean, not his hook, his gimmick, where he sticks his hands out and makes a weird gesture with his face. Another way is he's unique, right? We can look at the settings of where he's in. You can notice a lot of his setting is just in a room, whether it's a living room or some random room. Obviously, there's hardly any background in most of these videos, except obviously this one, where he's obviously in a place of some sort. But here, it's like he's in an apartment, or he's in a living room of some kind, and there isn't much going on, of course, because the premise is to have him be the center of attention, and have him be the person that you want to look at. So, and of course, he's a unique character, and he plays a specific role. When you think of Kabi, you think of obviously his gesture and the face he makes with it. So it's because of that, and it's because of his unique ability to leverage what he does, that he was able to create such a platform and a character, and obviously create a personal brand. And of course, the last one, make TikToks. Like, it kind of sounds pretty like obvious, but like the point is, like, you have to produce what you do using these strategies that he does to actually build a brand. Like, you're obviously, how else are you going to build a brand on TikTok if you're not going to make any TikToks, right? So that's kind of the point. He produces videos, he makes videos, whether it's goofy or not. Obviously, it gets views. 20 million, 3.7 million, 18.3 million. Like, even though, like, obviously he has a lot more followers than that, as long as you can have such a massive number of followers to the point where literally it really doesn't matter how many people look at it, as long as it's at a certain large engagement rate, that's really all you need. So these are just some things you can take from Kabi. Another one is Duolingo. Duolingo, of course, is a language, I guess, education app that you can use for free, of course. I've used it myself to learn a few languages, but of course it's not really the best platform. But again, I don't want to be too biased or anything. Again, it's a great brand. And of course, when you think of Duolingo, what do you think of? You think of the owl, right? You think of the mascot. And because of that, they've created such a brand where they were able to leverage their mascot to the point where they built such an audience. And they use TikTok for that. And look at this, 4.9 million followers with almost 100 million likes, which is absolutely insane. And here's what you can learn from Duolingo. If you're going to create a brand, it's best that you do it using a unique character or person centered around your brand. Whether you have a mascot or, have a person that can be recognized. And that kind of leads me to my next point, which is branding and recognition. You want to make sure that if you're a business owner or an influencer or whatever the case is, you want to make sure that your ability to be recognized and your ability to be engaging, and while also simultaneously having a distinct look or gimmick to the point that it separates you from everyone else. And if you're able to leverage that and able to do it in such a way where you mix both creativity and consistency and high engagement rates, you're able to just build an audience very easily. And that's kind of what Duolingo does, especially with the usage of their owl. Literally every TikTok they have, the owl's there. Why? Is because they want to make sure that you know what Duolingo is. When you see Duolingo, you picture the mascot, and that's kind of the point. And I guess another illustration would be, I guess we could say McDonald's, because we could say Ronald McDonald. When you think of McDonald's, obviously you think of the Big Macs and the chicken McNuggets or the McFlurries or whatever, but you also picture Ronald McDonald, and he was kind of the face of McDonald's. And also, like, I guess another food example would be KFC. When you picture KFC, you picture Colonel Sanders, right? And as long as you're able to put a face or a character with a brand, you're able to leverage that. And of course, creativity, of course, because you want to be creative and you want to have engaging and thoughtful content. And speaking of engaging and thoughtful content, here we lead to Mr. Beast, who is arguably one of the best content creators around. Obviously, his ability to just lure you in and keep you into the video, not knowing what's going to happen, and keeping it very fast paced to the point where it's very engaging and you want to stick around watching the video. So what can we learn from Mr. Beast? Of course, we can learn retention, his ability to keep his audience entertained and keep his audience wondering what's going to happen next. And it builds that suspense. And of course, it keeps it engaging. And it's also very fast paced. And if you can do that, if you're able to just make engaging and fast paced content, because again, that's what TikTok is. It's short form content. And you want to keep it as engaging and fast paced as possible and concise, right? So as long as you can do that, you're in a good spot. And of course, the power of creating a brand. Mr. Beast is a perfect personal brand. Like, Mr. Beast was able to make such great content. Of course, obviously he built most of his following on YouTube, but his ability to create content and be very engaging and thoughtful while also being concise and fast paced, that makes a great content creator. A part of also with his content ideas. You go to his YouTube and it's like, I don't eat or drink for 30 days straight, stuff like that. And or his Squid Game contest stuff or whatever the case is, it's like he does something that everyone wants to see. And that's why he throws all of his money into his videos, because he wants the best content possible. And of course, his powerful hooks, his ability to hook you in and keep you in the video watching. I think that's something that you can learn from him as well. And here's how you can grow a brand on TikTok. So again, what you can learn from all the examples that I showed you is that engaging in creative content is probably the best way you can make TikTok. Because again, if you're able to engage with an audience and keep being creative while doing it in a creative way, you can definitely make a big audience from that. Your ability to become recognizable and stand out from others. Like, what if you're a brand or a business owner, or you're going to make TikToks, what's going to separate you from everyone else? Because at the end of the day, you're just someone in that same niche talking about the same thing. What can you bring to the table that makes you unique and instantly become recognizable? And that's something you could consider, especially when you're going to do TikTok. And your ability to retain and leverage audiences. How are you going to keep your audience? How can you keep them interested in what you do? And how are you able to use that audience into building a brand bigger than yourself and bigger than what you can imagine, right? Like, a perfect example of that is obviously Mr. Beast with his content. So how are you, like, I guess a question that I can ask you, the viewer, is how can you retain an audience while also leverage it in such a way where you can build the brand that you want to build? So now here are just some strategies that you can implement. Again, consistency, consistent content creation, find ways you can make content that it's not only you can do it in such a consistent rate, but it's also unique. You stand out, you're able to be recognizable, and where you can also retain your audience, because retention is key, and not a lot of people really talk about that. Again, another way you could achieve this is looking up your competitors or other accounts that are in your niche or space, and you implement their form, the way they do content, or you take note of what they do and you try to implement that with what you do. But of course, you do it in a unique way where you can stand out and not be like a cookie cutter copy of whatever your competitors are doing. And again, you can use effective hooks. Again, literally, people, when they're on TikTok, they look at it for less than half a second, and already they decide if they want to scroll or not. So again, the hook is very powerful, and the thumbnail. Again, that's why YouTube thumbnails are very, like, they make or break whether someone clicks on the video, because it intrigues them. You want the hook to be the main course of your video. You want it to be amazing, otherwise no one's going to watch it, and they're going to keep scrolling, right? So I just put here examples of hooks. Obviously, they may not be the best hooks, but they're hooks nonetheless. And of course, these are just examples. You don't need to be the best like creative writer or anything to master hooks, but you need to understand what is going to keep the viewer interested. And again, analyze trends, whether it's like I guess you could say, whether it's a dance or whether it's a song that's added in the video, or whether it's a certain type of challenge or a hashtag. You can analyze these things, and you can leverage these hashtags or trends or whatever the case is that's a fad on TikTok, and you can use it to do what you do, but make it unique and creative and engaging in such a way where you're able to build your viewership from that. And analyzing trends and understanding the algorithm is such a powerful way of creating a brand, because you're able to use what's popular to bring viewers in, bring a bigger audience in that doesn't know what you're doing, and bring that traffic in so that you can get more eyeballs on your brand or business or your personal brand, right? So if you can implement these strategies, you're good to go for sure, and you're able to grow to a different level. So what should you do next? I guess what you could do next is, of course, implement these strategies and look at ways you can be a very, I guess you could say, unique individual. What's going to separate you from everyone else? I guess that's another thing you could do. And find a niche, of course, and find ways that you can be a good content creator. Find what content you want to make, and find how you can leverage other people's audiences and make an audience for yourself, I guess. Use your competitors and use what is going on with the current algorithm and form it in a way where you yourself can build a brand using the content that other people make while also being unique and standing out from everyone else. So anyways, that's it for this video. I hope you, I know it's a bit long, but hopefully you got something out of it, and I guess I'll see you in the next video. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.